With the Philadelphia Eagles roster almost in place, it is now time to start those 2022 schedule predictions. And the Eagles have also added yet another defensive back to their secondary. All that and more coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you feel
Sport.
that excitement?
And also,
The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Is what I'm seeing for real?
While I'm here live from Lincoln Financial.
I can't wait till this video is over so I can say its name anymore.
Music.
Wow. Again, and I hate to do this again, but these are What the hell? What is this? Whoa! What the hell?
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called? Got you, sucker! I see that coming. Everybody, to yet another episode of the ENN Podcast. I know it looks a little bit different as we're not in bar 4133, yet we are in the studios here at bar 4133, where I usually do my live streams or the Sopran Bros episodes here at ENN. Also, music video reactions and a lot of things are done right here at this studio. Today, we're going to be using it because we're going to be looking at the Eagles 2022 schedule. Now, when it first came out a couple weeks ago, everybody right away went ahead and did their schedule predictions. Now, I've done them as well over the years on this platform, on this channel. And let me tell you, they're usually very, very wrong, as everybody's is. I mean, how can you predict how the year is going to go as far as injuries? There's always a team that's a little bit better than we thought there was going to be, and there's always a team that's a little bit worse than we thought they were going to be. So it's very, very hard to predict there. But let's go right into this 2020 Philadelphia Eagles schedule as they start the season, not against the Washington Commanders like I wanted them to. I thought it would have been great with them facing Carson Wentz. It would have to be an away game because they were home last year, but facing Carson, I thought it would be a big game and could even be a primetime game. The Washington's defense is very good, as we'll talk about later. But no, they play on the road against the Detroit Lions September 1st. It is a Sunday. Look, listen, I'm going to be honest with you here. This game, to me, I went back and forth whether I wanted this to be a win or a loss. Now, we all know that the Lions don't have the talent that the Eagles do. However, they do have a coach that seems to get a little bit of juice out of these guys. And the fact that they had such a losing record last year, I'm sure they're going to be wanting to come out and start the season on the right foot against a team that destroyed them last year in the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they still have Jared Goff as their quarterback. And with that being said, and with Jameson Williams probably not going to be ready, and even if he is, I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference. I'm giving this Eagles W here. I just cannot put the Lions over the Eagles. And if they do, for some reason, win this game, I just don't see it happening. Jalen Hurts will have to have a really bad game. The defense will kind of have to fall apart to lose to a Jared Goff-led Detroit Lions team. That brings us to week number 2, the home opener against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, if this was any other game on the schedule, I'm saying if it was week 1 away, or if it was, I don't know, week 6 at home on a Sunday afternoon, I'd probably say that the Minnesota Vikings have a really good shot with Dalvin Cook still being healthy of beating the Eagles, but I just cannot give the Vikings the W on a Monday night home opener in Philadelphia. Hopefully the Eagles bring out the black jerseys, the black pants, and now the black helmets. I just think the Eagles are going to win this game. I'm not saying they're going to run through the Vikings. I think it will be close. It'll probably be a field goal game, but I think the Eagles do get that W, making them 2-0, and the city of Philadelphia feeling really good. Week 3 against the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, who I thought should have been the first opponent they play, the Eagles will go to that crummy stadium to face Carson Wentz and the Commanders. Now, listen, Carson Wentz, to me, mentally, there's just something there. He doesn't do well under pressure, but they are at home in Washington, and Washington has a outstanding defense, I should say, with Chase Young being back in the fold. Jonathan Allen's still there. They are lacking kind of in the cornerback department. They were hoping to get James Bradbury instead of the Eagles, but I do believe that this will be, I hate to say it, I think this will be the Eagles' first loss of the year. Carson will get this win against the Eagles, kind of like when McNabb went to Washington and McNabb had kind of a bad game and Washington still beat the Eagles. I think that the first time that McNabb played, I think this will be kind of a similar thing with the Washington Commanders narrowly getting that W. There'll probably be some weird things happening in the game as well. But yeah, I think Washington will get this first win. It brings the Eagles to now 2-1 going into week 4. And this game, I had a hard time predicting this game too, as Doug Peterson comes back home. He comes back to Philadelphia. Now, he will be absolutely cheered when he comes. He'll probably have a nice little video package. First coach to ever win the Eagles a Super Bowl. Comes in with a young, hungry team that made a lot of moves in the offseason. Some head scratchers, but they do have a better team than last year. I think Trevor Lawrence will make the jump this year to being better. And this is going to be a tough game for the Eagles. It's absolutely going to be a tough game. It could be a sleeper game that they could lose. There's always that game on the schedule that you don't predict them to lose. I, however, am not going to predict this team to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Philadelphia Eagles take this win. Again, it's going to be a tough win. This isn't going to be a game where they absolutely blow out the other team. I think they win. The Jaguars are now 3-1 going into Week 5 against the Arizona Cardinals, easy for me to say, and Kyler Murray. They could be DeAndre Hopkins as of right now is going to be suspended until the next week. Kyler Murray is just not the same without DeAndre Hopkins. And the Eagles, the last time they went to Arizona, if you remember, it was Jalen Hurts' first year. They almost beat the Cardinals with a team of really nobody. You're looking at Travis Fulgham and Quez Watkins were, as a rookie, Quez Watkins was a receiver. Guys, a lot of people are putting this as a loss. I think this is a win. And again, I know I'm an Eagles fan, and it might be the homer in me, but I just think they go into Arizona. I think that they're not going to be favored. I think without DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray, and who knows what's going to happen with Kyler Murray's contract situation. They'll be facing Zach Ertz for the first time. I think the Eagles win this one pretty easily, actually. I think that they go in there and that defensive line makes stuff really, really hard on Kyler Murray. And it could be the breaking point for that quarterback in Week 5. I think the Eagles upset the Cardinals in Arizona, that being October 9th. And look, guys, we're looking at a 4-1 team right now, only having lost to the Commanders. Week 6, I think that, and guys, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Week 6 primetime Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. I had the Dallas Cowboys. It's so hard to say. I would never like to predict the Dallas win over the Eagles, but I think that they come in and they win this game here. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure put on the Eagles. I think they're going to be feeling themselves after defeating the Cardinals, and they have to come, come home to Philadelphia from Arizona. I'm not saying they're going to be tired because it's Sunday night, but I think that, again, they're going to be feeling themselves a little bit. And I think the Cowboys take this one, and I think it comes down to a turnover or a field goal. I don't think that they beat the shit out of us like they normally do. But yeah, I think Dallas takes this one. And it's going to be a long bye week. Week 7, bye week. It's going to be a long bye week, kind of an early bye for the Eagles. But they get that bye there. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff, even at now, we're looking at 4-2. There's going to be a lot of stuff that the Eagles and Nick Sirianni are going to have to be answering to. So just to go back into review, I've got a win against the Lions. I've got a win against the Vikings, a loss against the Commanders. So now we're 2-1, a win against the Jaguars, 3-1, and a win against the Cardinals, 4-1. The Dallas loss makes it 4-2 as the Eagles go into the bye. And guess what? It's going to get pretty good because they face the Steelers October 30th, the birthday of my baby girl. And I'm going to be like all the other guys on here, and they're not losing on my daughter's birthday to the Steelers. Who knows who the Steelers quarterback's going to be? Mitch Trubisky. Does he already give the ball off to small hands Pickett? Either way, I think the Eagles win this game again at home. They're going to be hungry after losing to the Cowboys and having to hear about that all throughout the bye. And I think they're going to put a little whooping on those Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to be good this year to a point, but I don't think that they're going to be ready to come into a Philadelphia team, like I said, off a Dallas loss that's going to be wanting some blood. I think they beat the Steelers making them now 5-2 going into Houston. Thursday night football. I think the Eagles win this game too. I think this is a blowout against the Texans. I just don't think the Texans stand a chance against this Philadelphia Eagles team. We're 6-2 at this point, and they face the Commanders at home. Carson Wentz is going to come into the Hornets' nest, much like Ben Simmons. He's not going to be ready for it, and the Eagles get that win back against the Commanders at home. Monday night football. Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz. I think Jalen shines. I think A.J. Brown shines as well. And that Eagles defense shows that they are the better defense that they weren't earlier in the season. I think we're at 7-2 now, right, guys? Against the Colts, week 11, going to be a tough one. They're going to be on a high after a 3-game winning streak, and I think that comes to an end against the Colts. I think it'll be Nick Foles at this point. As Nick Foles signed with the Colts today, Matt Ryan, whether it's by injury. And I don't like to predict injury on anybody, but man, the guy can't move like he used to, or just the fact that I don't think he's that good a quarterback anymore. I think Nick Foles takes the reins over, and old St. Nick actually beats us. This next game, everywhere I look, everybody has it as a loss. Sunday night football against the Packers at home. Now, maybe I have to go back and look. Did the Packers not just lose Davante Adams, one of the, if not the best wide receiver, that Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy? Yes, I still know they have Aaron Jones and a good defense, but I don't see where they're that much better on paper than the Eagles. This is the same Aaron Rodgers that lost in the playoffs at home to Jimmy Garoppolo and the San Francisco 49ers. At this point, I don't know where the Packers are going to be record-wise, but I could bet that Aaron Rodgers probably isn't going to be too happy. And this is the team that isn't as good as we think they are. There's always that team that we look at that we're like, they were supposed to be good and they're not. It's going to be the Packers for me this year. And I think the Packers go down to the Eagles in a close game. And we are now, ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Eagles at this point are now 8-3, right? So now going into the Titans game, I have the Eagles beating the Titans at home. Again, just a team that I think is going to fall off are the Tennessee Titans. Week 14 against the Giants. The Giants are not a team that even wants to win this year. They're going to beat them. The Bears is a loss. I think the Bears are going to be a little bit better than we think they are. That was the team that I had. So yes, they lose to the Bears, come back, go to Dallas, where we're always destroyed, where they always kick our ass, and the Eagles get their win back against the Cowboys on Christmas Eve, and it's going to be a rough Christmas for those Cowboy fans as we beat them at home for the first time and since 2017 maybe. They beat the Saints, and then they beat the Giants again. So that gives the Eagles a record of, and again, I blow through the Saints game because a Saints team with James Winston and no Sean Payton and coach, a defense that lost Malcolm Jenkins. I know they got the Honey Badger. But I don't think it's going to be that much. I think, again, I look at the Bears team. I think it's just one of those sneaky games that the Eagles are going to, maybe a trap game that the Eagles fall into. The Titans, again, a team that's probably going to fall off without A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown shows them what they were missing in that game. So the only losses I have this year, guys, are the first week against the Commanders. We've got a loss against the Cowboys at home, unfortunately. Then a loss by the Colts, a loss by the Bears, and that's 4 losses. So yeah, I think that the Philadelphia Eagles, your Philadelphia Eagles, will end the season at 13-4. Can you imagine 13 wins? Is that right? Lions, Vikings, Jaguars, Cardinals win. Steelers win, Texans win, Commanders win, Packers win, Titans win, Giants win. We're already at 10 there. Then the Cowboys win, Saints and Giants again. It's a 13-4 season for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion. And again, call me a homer. Before the James Bradbury signing, this would be very hard to predict and probably wouldn't be at 13 wins. I could very easily seeing them having a fluky kind of weird game against the Giants where the Giants come off with a W. It's really hard to think that could happen. And I look at the Eagles have literally, and I know people are going to look at Jalen Hurts, and if Jalen Hurts just plays the exact same way Jalen Hurts played last year, the Eagles can win 13 games. I believe, and again, I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood. I believe that this defense is going to be really, really, really good this year, and teams are going to have a hard time scoring against the Eagles. They're going to have a hard time running against Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, and that front. They're going to have a hard time with guys like Nakobe Dean and TJ Edwards, even at the linebacker. Kazir White, who nobody really talks about, I think is going to be a big time guy for the Eagles. And then you've got Darius Slay and James Bradbury, probably the two best cornerback team in the league, with Avonte Maddox, who's great in the slot. I just think that the Eagles are, there's a guy by the name of Milton Williams who plays on that line, who I think is going to have an absolute breakout year because nobody's talking about him. But they just have all the right pieces on the offense. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, who's going to cover that? With Quez Watkins, the speedy guy, who knows? Maybe Jalen Reagor wakes up and catches a couple touchdowns. I just think, and there's going to be some guys, some surprises. Kennedy Brooks, running back from Oklahoma, I think he's going to make the team. He's going to be good for this. Kenny Gainwell in his second year. Miles Sanders, please at least score one touchdown this year. Maybe he wakes up. And the offensive line is still great as well, with Jason Kelsey coming back, with Landon Dickerson in year 2. Jordan Mailata is an absolute monster. Isaac Seumalo is in the fray, as well as Jack Driscoll. They just have Lane Johnson. They just have talent everywhere on the offensive line. So when you got a good offensive line, you got a good defensive line. I mean, that is most of the equation right there. Jalen Hurts can take the step after training with Tom House and Tom Brady and all that stuff in the offseason. Jordan Palmer, I heard, was also in there. And he can absolutely have a good year. I absolutely believe that. All the pieces are around him. If he doesn't have a good year, the next guy is going to have these same pieces around him as well. Good job by Howie Roseman so far. It's not even done. We're not even at OTAs or we're not even at training camp yet. This is still very fresh and anything can happen. So with that being said, guys, that is it. 13-4. I cannot believe I am predicting 13-4 for the same Philadelphia Eagles team that I saw get destroyed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs. But guess what, guys? It's not the same team. It's not the same team. Not at all. And with that being said, guys, I will leave you. And again, I still can't believe I said 13-4. It was going to be it was going to be 14-3 because I didn't have to be honest, I'm looking at that Bears game and I'm still kind of like, how do they lose to the Bears? But again, who knows? Who knows what these teams are all going to be? Who knows, man? Mitch Trubisky can end up being an amazing quarterback, and the Pittsburgh Steelers could be awesome this year. I don't know, but I'm just looking at it, guys. This is what we do. It's fun. This is why we do this. This is why I take the time to make this. And that's it. 13-4 for the Philadelphia Eagles, guys. If you haven't subscribed, you think I'm out of my mind. I do a lot of out of my mind things on this channel, but it's all entertaining. Please hit that subscribe button, put them likes up, do the whole deal. You know everything that I'm going to say if you've been subscribed before I already say it. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Go Birds, and I'll see you later.